Hi, I'm Scott Kegler.
And I'm Rob MacPherson.
And welcome back to Owl Dragon Adventures for another initial reactions video that we'll be talking about a new game that we've been able to get to the table. And what game are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about Unsettled from Orange Nebula. This was
very unsettling.
This was a Kickstarter game from 2020 that ran into what every Kickstarter has been running into the past year with shipping issues.
Yeah.
But finally, all of the fulfillment is almost done. By the time you see this video, it hopefully, for their sake, will be done. And I just got my copy last week, and we were able to get it to the table shortly thereafter. So pretty thrilled about that. So Unsettled is it's a puzzle-style space survival game. It's built on a couple of sites as a worker placement, but after our playthrough, we don't necessarily agree with that.
I mean, it's a light worker placement. Yeah. I mean, it's for the gameplay. I mean,
it's a focus placement game.
Yeah, I guess. Like, and it's for me, it was a tile exploration game. With some dice. I mean, yes, I guess the dice are worker placement. So like it's like dice worker placement.
So there's these large dice that you can see that are placed in different areas to denote what actions you are taking. So in that case, it is a placement game for actions, but it's not like a Lords of Waterdeep, or a Runes of Arnak.
Yeah, like again, it was. You get going through it. I enjoy that part of it. So the gameplay for it's fun co-op, a game where you are all working together to survive in space. So I thought the theme was pretty on point. It is interesting thing for me on gameplay was that it looks, and all the components have a very like geek chic kind of like cool sci-fi look, very crisp look to it. And I was expecting, not knowing much coming into it, this like dark game, because you hear the description like you're going through these planets and barely trying to survive together, but then the game has a lot of flavor text that's
now all of the story components are very tongue-in-cheek. Like even in the instructions at one part, it's the goal of the game is to what is it? It's something along the lines of and see if you can win, and then parentheses it says live or not, in parentheses the other thing. Yeah, and it's very silly.
Well, yeah, and one of the first, not spoilers, but there was like some stuff with a mold in one parts of the first games, and there was this heading of a chapter that was like, welcome to the fungal. Yeah. So like to give you an idea. So that was a little bit jarring for me at first. I got into it and it was just, I wasn't expecting it. But we made a comparison to, if you've played Cthulhu Death May Die, which we will definitely talk about on this channel because I'm obsessed with that game. But it gave me echoes of that, where like very dark thing happening, but with a little bit of that tongue in cheek and the flavor text.
Right. Which I thought helped balance it out and add some levity to it to make you enjoy the puzzle aspect a bit more.
It definitely ramped up too, because at first it started, and for gameplay for me, it was a little bit, it felt almost fiddly, but like as Rob pointed out, he didn't see it as that way as much. But I had a little bit, but it definitely like got cooking, as there was a lot of fun ways to synergize character progression. So like, and I like anything in a game where you give me a player character that I can like level up or enhance and get abilities and kind of game the synergies a little bit. So I did enjoy that part a lot.
Right. So the idea behind it is that you're exploring the planet and you're trying to build your, or part of it is you're trying to build up your insight into whatever field you're looking into. So engineering, robotics, and chemistry. Once you've comprehended your field, you get a comprehension token, you get a comprehension card that gives you some more abilities in that field. So things like you can teleport around a little bit, you can drink some ooze to make you feel better. And what's cool is that all of the things that you can do like that all the cards, those are planet specific. I have 4 of the planets, the 2 base ones that come in the base framework, they're called, and then I have the 2 additional ones from the Kickstarter. I wish that I had gotten all 6 planets now, but hindsight, 2020.
So where are you on gameplay?
Gameplay, I'm definitely on a high. I had a lot of fun with it. I have a higher tolerance for fiddly than Scott does, which is where we can kind of butt heads a little bit because I don't agree.
Yeah.
It's a matter of degrees.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely fine with like placing tokens down every time we have to move and picking them up for different reasons. I like that aspect of it, and I'm okay managing it.
I'm curious where like more playthroughs will get me on gameplay. I would say I'm at like a mid right now on gameplay, but I could be pushed to high like if the character development continues and it's fun. But that's where I'm at there.
Yep. Accessibility. So the instructions they're better than a lot of games that we've played through, but they're worse than a lot of games that I've played through. I had to dig a lot through the instruction manual and flip back and forth a lot to find some things. As I've said, I've had to do it a lot more in other games, but it did exist in this one. So I would put accessibility at a mid for this one. Once you get playing and figure it out, it's easy.
Yeah.
But I definitely know some people, my wife included, that if you can't jump right in and get it within like one turn, it's going to be a no-go. So I got to put it at a mid for that.
I mean, I would keep it at a mid too, because I think what works against it, works for it rather, works against scoring it any lower, is that it is a cooperative game. So generally, like if you have new gamers or people that don't game as much, or just generally don't like to play competitive games because it causes them any kind of anxiety, this is more accessible in those situations because it's fun. I can help you with your turn without causing any conflict at the table or taking away from any of my fun. So we were able to help each other like with certain turns, be like, no, I think we should try to do this, and it ends up being a good kind of exercise for the team, like a problem-solving exercise. So I think it's there.
When we won in our last playthrough, because we did win our first playthrough, but the last couple of turns, it was less that we were individual players and we were really just playing like a chess set with three players. We're like, okay, but if we move here, then we do this, then we do this, and we do this. And that was really cool because it did get the excitement for that escape at the end, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Design, I love the design. I like the chic design. It's tied together through everything. Each of the planets that I've looked through, they look different enough from the other planets to know that you're on a different planet, but they look similar enough within their own set to be tied together. The minis are, I think, 50 millimeter minis.
Yeah, they're big.
They're big. They're about this big. You can see it in our unboxing. I'll actually put a photo up here too. You can see how big the minis are, which is great because you don't need them to be scaled to anything. So it's just a marker of where you are. You get a lot of different little components. The gameplay boards themselves are also the storage solution. So the design there is really clever. Reminds us of Warp's Edge.
Yeah, very much. That almost
by Renegade games, where you kind of just store the things in the thing you play with, which is really good.
Yeah, they're like part of the game. Like the game trays are essentially component holders in game and counters. So I agree. I think the design is high on it. I say that as someone who actually doesn't like this style as much. Like I think that this is almost too crisp for me. Like on a shelf, I would like walk right by it for me. But like I can acknowledge, I think it's a good design. And once you get in the game, it's all very well put together and all feels on theme. And I wouldn't mistake a piece of Unsettled for another game. Like it all has the same feel. So I think it's a high design. It's not
necessarily
not my thing.
Yeah,
but I would still rate it high on design.
Quality, probably for me in terms of the quality, the best box that I've seen for components. One of the aspects of it that you can see is as you open it up, they've notched the side of the box so you can actually reach in and pick the things up very easily. That's huge. I mean, if you've played board games, you've definitely played the
also,
ones...
if you open that back up, one thing that I had noticed when we played last night was there's also a really great teardown chart here.
Oh, yeah.
So like you actually know what order everything goes in the as you're putting those functional game trays away, it tells you where everything goes, which I think is really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually didn't even notice that. Thanks.
Yeah.
But I mean, you if you play board games, you've definitely played the ones where you have to flip the box upside down and shake the thing.
Where you're like you're worried about like you stress the corners in the box because you're trying to like wedge out something. I had that trouble with one of my favorites, War Chest, which is like great, love the game, I love the components, but it's like trying to get those pieces out. Very frustrating.
The game trays, which are made by Game Trays, which I'm going to look for in the future because they're gorgeous. They're high quality plastic. And they all nest together beautifully. They hold the components beautifully. Quality is definitely a high for me on this.
I would agree with for all those reasons, high as well.
Value, again, this is an early look at this game, so we're going to leave this a little open-ended. I got the Kickstarter version. I got 4 planets and the base framework for $89 plus shipping. I know that the base game right now is shipping for $104. I think that's just with 2 planets. So it's a little bit more expensive. But as of right now, I'm leaning towards value being high, even if it stretches up to the $130 for everything. There's a lot of replayability to it. There's 3 different tasks for each planet. And there's a randomness element which changes it up.
Well, also it's like we have to kind of have this lens right now of the gaming prices or board game prices have really been impacted by shipping and by production. So, maybe a year and a half ago retail, this would have probably been closer to that mark, like in the 95 range.
I will say Orange Nebula did put out a post, I think this was about 2 months ago, that they did say that they're actually losing money on the Kickstarter, unfortunately, which
they're not the only ones.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are. Just for their sake, I'm going to plug. Please definitely go onto their site and pick this up. This is definitely on one of my top shelves.
And I really enjoyed it. Like I was a converted person. Like I would like to see where I'm at with additional playthroughs. I stuck with it, but my initial reactions were mixed. Right. But I want to see more of it, so I would also put, for me, I can't really assign a value right now, but overall right now the game is going to land somewhere around probably a 4 for me, 3.5, 4.
Yeah, I'd say for me it's probably closer to a 4 or 5, just because a lot of the things fell more into my wheelhouse than Scott's per se in terms of our likes. Really solid game, definitely worth the wait for it in my opinion, which I'm hoping to be able to say about my 20 other Kickstarters that I'm sure will be delayed because of the global shipping crisis going on. Great game. Great job, Orange Nebula, on it, in my opinion. And I look forward to playing it several more times.
We'll do a spoiler-free full review where we land with the game and our official rating on the game.
Once we've gone through the 4 planets that I have, and probably the other 2 planets that I'll be picking up shortly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel to see more content about board games.
As always, you can find the links to our socials down in the description and link to Unsettled over on Orange Nebula's page there as well.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.